Hi there, first grade. Welcome to Thursday. I hope you've had a really good week and that you enjoyed some rain today. We got outside a little bit, but then it rained. So today we are going to be working with something that we did in class and we've practiced it before, so this won't be totally new to you. We are going to work with Venn diagrams and comparing and contrasting. So remember, comparing and contrasting means what things have in common and how they are different. So similarities and differences. So I'm going to get my screen switched over so I can show you what we're going to be working on. And we have two stories today. One story is from last week. Remember the tricky mouse? So we have the tricky mouse and we have another story called The Lion and the Mouse. And you are going to work on comparing and contrasting them, looking at what they have in common and what they have that is different, okay? So let me get these switched over a little bit. And hang on just a second. There we go. Okay, so just to give you a quick little reminder, okay, this is what your Venn diagram is going to look like. So you're going to get a piece of paper out when we're done with the stories, and you are going to draw two circles. Okay, so you see one circle and two circles, and you remember that they overlap in the middle. Okay, then you're going to write over one of the circles, you're going to write the tricky mouse, and over the other circle, you're going to write the lion and the mouse, because those are our two stories. Okay, so you have to think back, because we did this several times in class. You have to think back and remember that the outside is what this story has that is different from this story. And in the middle is what they have in common, what is similar, okay? So differences are on the outsides, similarities or what they have in common are on the inside where it overlaps, okay? So you're gonna set your paper up just like this. All right, so let's take a look at our first story. Remember this one? It's called The Tricky Mouse, and we had this one last week. So I'm going to read it to you. You can go back and read it again when you're ready to do your Venn diagram, but I'm going to read it to you here really quickly so that you have it in your head. Okay? The Tricky Mouse. Once upon a time, there was a stinky lion. He loved to sleep all day in the bright sun and only woke up to find food or to stretch his golden body. But one day, a squeaky mouse found the sleeping lion and decided to play a trick on him. The mouse crept up to the lion and pulled his prickly whiskers. The lion woke up suddenly from his quiet sleep and looked around to see who had played the rough trick. But the delicious mouse had already scurried off to his soft home. All right, so that is our first story. And remember, that one is going to go over on this side of your Venn diagram, the tricky mouse. Okay, so think about the details of that story. And then you're going to compare it and contrast it, show how it's similar and how it's different to the lion and the mouse. Now, this is a different story. This is actually a pretty famous story. It's one of Aesop's fables. You'll probably hear it many times in your life. The Lion and the Mouse. A little mouse was passing through a lion's den. The lion caught him and was about to smash him when the little mouse spoke. "Sir, please let me go, and I will do you a favor one day for sparing my life." The lion was rather amused to hear this, thinking, "What good can he do me?" But he let him go. 2 weeks later, some hunters came to the forest and spread a net around the lion's den. The lion was caught. He struggled hard to set himself free, but he soon realized he was trapped. He roared with anger. The little mouse was out looking for food when he heard the lion's roar. He ran to him. Seeing the lion caught in the net, he started chewing at it at once. The mouse had sharp teeth, and he soon freed the lion. The lion was very grateful to the little mouse. From that day, they became the best of friends. Okay, so there was our second little story. And so looking at our Venn diagram, we're going to write the lion and the mouse on this side over the second circle. Okay, so now you're going to think back. And remember, you can go back and you can read those stories again. You're going to think back. And what do these stories have in common? What could you put in the middle of the diagram in the similarities area? Well, look at the titles. The Tricky Mouse, The Lion and the Mouse. Were there mice in both stories? There was a mouse in each one, right? So you could write mouse in the center in the overlapping parts because they both had a mouse in the story. Now let's think for a second, because I'm going to have you do some of these on your own too. Let's think about one thing that maybe they don't have in common. Maybe there's a difference. They contrast. They're different from each other. Okay, what would a difference be between these two stories? They both have a mouse in it. Let me think. In the Tricky Mouse, is there anybody that comes to get the lion? Are there any hunters or anything? I don't remember any hunters in the Tricky Mouse. Were there any hunters in the Lion and the Mouse? Yep, there were. So in the outside of the circle, okay, we can write hunters because the Tricky Mouse did not have hunters in it, but the Lion and the Mouse did. So we can write hunters in this section of the circle. Okay, so we can put mouse in the middle because they each had a mouse in it, and that is in common. They both have it. And we can write hunters on the outside because this story had hunters in it and this one did not. All right, now here's what I want you to do. Go back and look at those two stories. And I want you to fill in, because you drew your own Venn diagram on your own paper and you labeled it. And then I want you to write in as many details as you can for the Tricky Mouse and the Lion and the Mouse. Remember, what do they have that are different from each other? Okay, contrasting differences. And what do they have in common is going to go in that middle section. Okay? All right, so I hope that you have a really good day and that you have a good weekend and that you enjoy these two stories and filling out your Venn diagram. All right, we'll see you later. Bye, guys.